I chose to do my country specialist presentation on Puerto Rico. History. Christopher Columbus arrived in 1493 and originally called the island San Juan Bautista. After gold was found in the rivers, they changed the name to Puerto Rico, which means rich port, and changed the capital to San Juan. Puerto Rico was originally a Spanish colony that was becoming a military outpost. Puerto Rico belonged to Spain until the Spanish-American War in April 1898. The U.S. invaded the territory and got control. The war lasted until December 1898. After the war, the Treaty of Paris was signed, and Spain gave Puerto Rico to the U.S. Puerto Ricans received U.S. citizenship in 1917. They are still not a state to this day and do not have a vote in the U.S. Congress. Political and economical situation. In 1917, the U.S. passed the Jones Acts. This is when our Congress established a legislative branch with a Senate and a House of Representatives in Puerto Rico. It also gave the Puerto Rican people an American citizenship. Right now, Puerto Rico has a Republican form of government. Although they do not have a seat in the U.S. Congress, they do have a non-voting resident commissioner in the U.S.'s House of Representatives. They have two major political parties, the New Progressive Party and the Democratic Party. Political and Economic Situation, Part 2. Puerto Rico has a national debt of $74 billion. Their economy's biggest source of revenue right now is tourism. The U.S. took Puerto Rico for the gold in the rivers and the sugarcane market. Their main exports are rum, beverage concentrates, canned tuna, and chemicals. Their main imports are electronics, machinery equipment, and food. They have a 44.54% poverty rate. Their economy is also driven by the manufacturing primarily of pharmaceuticals, textiles, and petrochemicals. Identities. When Christopher Columbus arrived in 1493, he had already found that the island was inhabited by the indigenous tribe of the Tanos people. When the Spanish conquistadors came to Puerto Rico, they brought African slaves. Most Puerto Rican bloodline is now a mix of Spanish, African, and the indigenous Tano. Afro-Puerto Rican is a dominant group there. They are Puerto Ricans who are predominantly from African descent. The Tanos people almost became extinct following the Spanish colonists due to the infectious diseases they brought. Trends/challenges. Puerto Rico has two major challenges: economically and natural disasters. Economically, more than 45% of people are living at or below the federal poverty line. Puerto Rico is in $74 billion of debt, as I said before. As of 2019, Puerto Rico has an unemployment rate of 8.19%, while the U.S. is at 6.9%. Although the island is in terrible debt, the U.S. Congress took away its bankruptcy rights, like the states have in the 1980s. Puerto Rico may only declare bankruptcy if Congress approves, which they have not yet. Natural disasters. The island is vulnerable to tropical storms, hurricanes, floods, and earthquakes. The last hurricane was Hurricane Maria in 2017 that still has lasting damage on the island. Hurricane Maria caused as much as $94.4 billion in damages. The winds got up to 175 miles per hour and the storm lasted 2 weeks and 2 days. Popular culture in Puerto Rico. The guiro is a Puerto Rican instrument that was said to have originated from the Taino people. It is a notched, hollowed-out gourd. It is produced music by dragging a wooden stick-like object known as a pua on the ridges of the outside of the guiro. The guiro is usually played in Spanish folk music, but also can be used to play salsa. Some people may recognize it from elementary music class. These are pictures I took in Puerto Rico when I went there in 2014. The first picture in the top row is a buildings in San Juan, the Strip. The second on the top row is my little sister holding a coconut she found. The first on the bottom row is the houses that people lived in who were in poverty. The second on the bottom row in the middle is food I got from a restaurant that was on the main strip in Puerto Rico, or in San Juan. And the last picture is a Puerto Rican lady. She graciously let us take a picture of her. She's holding uvas players, or a sea grape.